Hey guys, welcome back to another Sketchbook Tour. Sorry for not posting in so long. I just really haven't worked on that much lately, at least not enough worth showing in a video. So I figured why not go back and look at some of my older stuff, older things I've done throughout the years. Some of these are older, about, I think some are maybe like 10 years old. So it was when I was a bit more inexperienced, so the quality of some of these may vary. Let's get started here. Starting off here with a sketch I did of Elvis Presley a few years back. This is a commission for somebody. Back then I didn't really have a decent phone to look up a picture. So my dad actually knew I was working on the project and said, hey, I have an old album from Elvis's Comeback, which is the album he's wearing here. Really cool leather jacket. And he brought it up, and he said, why don't you use that for a reference? So yeah, this is all one of the old album covers, one of the old sleeves for the record. I remember it took me forever to do all the folds and wrinkles in the jacket. And I kind of used the same thing, pretty much same technique as I did when I draw hair. I think I said in an older video, using when I draw hair, I try to figure out like any sort of abstract shapes that the different folds or wrinkles are making, or any sort of patterns that they're making, and try to find where that is in reference to a part of the body. It also helps keep things in proportion too, or keep things in scale, because a lot of times I think when you zoom in on a reference, you tend to lose focus and maybe make things bigger than they actually appear. So I think to keep things in line, usually, say like you're working on the hand and you're really focusing on his fingers, so you're zoomed in on the hand, you might unintentionally make it bigger than it should be. So I would look at, say, where his hand is in relation to his head, where different parts of the body are relative to one another. And I know, of course, there's like the Loomis method and different techniques to keep things to scale, or keep different parts of the body in proportion, and make sure you have accurate anatomical structure. There's a lot of great studies on that, really a lot that I have to look into lately. I've been looking at a lot of the Loomis method, which is really interesting, just how many different techniques there are to keep structure in your art, keep structure when you're trying to be accurate to anatomy. I think it's called the 3-part rule of breaking down a head, essentially into 3 segments, which is really interesting, just how you can come up with these different structures, different guidelines for yourself. Basically just use as a framework. Yeah, hopefully this one still looks okay. Like I said, it is older, so hopefully over the years it still looks okay. Next here is a picture of several expressions with Link. This is from Twilight Princess. This is still one of my favorite Zelda art styles. I think I said in an earlier video, if you were to ask me, even though Zelda always experiments with different art styles, whether it's the classic style of Ocarina of Time, or the more cartoony, kind of light, I guess chibi style of anime of the Wind Waker. There's so many different styles of the games. It's the watercolor approach of the watercolor style of Skyward Sword, or the oil painting, the cel-shaded character models against an oil painting backgrounds of Breath of the Wild. They always experiment with different styles, but I still think, if you were to ask me, like, when you think of Zelda, you think of this grand adventure and this great storyline that spans this legend that spans generations. You just think of these great battles, this great storyline. I feel like you either go to Twilight Princess or Ocarina of Time, or even Breath of the Wild. It's just for me personally, when I think Zelda, that's immediately what comes to mind. And I just love the design for Link here. I love how it's kind of like a natural evolution of the style from Ocarina of Time, how you see a lot of the base is still there. The eyes, the expression, his hair. And they just kind of made it grittier. They just kind of made it more intense. Twilight Princess. Yeah, I've always loved art style. It's always been one of my favorites. I was really trying to capture the different facial expressions for Link here. The shot from the box art I always thought was really cool. We have one of the sorry for the glare. we have some art from the spin-off game Hyrule Warriors, which again kind of took liberties with design from Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess. Sort of made sort of a coalescence of Zelda styles throughout the years. For kind of a combination of Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess. Kind of came into its own with the heavy armor on Zelda. Ganondorf's design, which is obviously inspired by Twilight Princess, but kind of, kind of took it and ran with it. I think it's a really cool style. But yeah, I really like this artwork. Hope you guys can see it alright. Darn glare in the way. But yeah, I like this piece. I really want to try to work on it. Again, it's older, so hopefully it turned out okay. I always have a little bit of armor and the scarf on Link and Hyrule Warriors. It's pretty cool. Again, it's taking inspiration from Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, but they kind of want to do their own thing with it for a Warriors game. Still pretty neat. Here we have Midna, Twilight Princess. I remember her helmet took a while to do. Still, in my opinion, one of the best companion characters in Zelda, just because she actually had a storyline behind her. I always thought Midna's whole arc was really interesting. Yeah, I love her whole character. Her design is great. It's really interesting looking at old concept art, looking at how many drafts that she went through before they finalized her. Something where you saw kind of allusions to what she would end up being, where you saw bits and pieces of what would come together, what would become the final design for Midna. But some that were so wildly different that actually would have been cool to see them use. But I love her final design. I think it really turned out great. But yeah, and when I saw this new artwork, I think for Twilight Princess HD, I knew I wanted to try to work on it. This looks really cool. Again, hopefully that comes through here in my work. That, how cool the original artwork looks. Some stuff from game Batman Arkham City. I'm not a huge DC guy really at all, especially recently. I'm not really big into all superhero stuff, but I thought the animated series were pretty good, and I enjoyed a couple of the Arkham games. But here's Mr. Freeze. A lot of detail on his suit. And a little snow globe. Ballerina, I guess, supposed to represent his wife. But yeah, a lot of detail in his suit. Took me a while to do. Pretty cool design. It's kind of awkward starting off one of the Batman villains and not having one of my sketches of Batman. Maybe I'll show one of those later. I have a couple different sketches of Batman. Arkham City. Maybe I'll show those off in another video. But yeah, Mr. Freeze. Arkham Mr. Freeze. It's the Riddler. Just a back shot of him. It's artwork. I like kind of like the splash of color in some of the artwork, but it's just monochrome, black and white, with a little splash of color just to give a little bit of character. Not much to say about these. Nothing really special. Just something I wanted to work on at the time. That was pretty cool. Penguin. A lot more gruff in this game. Almost like a mobster, rather than like a sophisticated, kind of high society figure as he was in some of the shows, or I guess I don't read the comic books, but I think that was always his portrayal in the comics as like a gentleman. But yeah, they went more like a gruff, like a mobster look for him in Arkham. Two-Face. Catwoman. The Arkham Knight, which I didn't play, but thought his design was pretty cool. The intricate armor, the angular armor like that. That was pretty neat. Oh gosh, here we go. I knew it was coming to these soon. This Brick from The Walking Dead. I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of The Walking Dead. It's a show I watched for a while. Went up to about, I think season 7, season 8. I just got tired of, frankly, just watching people die. It's such a brutal show. And frankly, I don't know how much longer you can keep a show going where the only story is just zombie apocalypse, where you go try to find civilization. Civilization gets overrun either by zombies or there's a rival group. It gets destroyed and they have to pick up and keep moving and rinse and repeat. Find civilization, get attacked by zombies or walkers. Rival group, rinse and repeat. I don't know. I'm not a huge Walking Dead fan. Of all the shows you could watch, like, so many interesting stories are out there. I never saw, like, why Walking Dead was as big as it was. I don't know. I guess it's just not a lot that I'm into. I don't watch a lot of shows. But just, I guess I'm still a kid at heart, because I still go back to some of the older shows I watched when I was younger. But yeah, Walking Dead was just too rough for me. It's kind of show you feel like you want to take a shower after you finish watching it, honestly. But these are just ones I did at the time that I thought would maybe be popular, people would want to buy prints of, so I did a few of the characters. Here's Glenn. Maybe this was not for personal enjoyment, this is just something I thought would be popular. Now, this is something, another commission. Someone asked for Priscilla Presley, Elvis Presley's wife. Looking back, I think the eyes are a little off here. But again, it's older. Still have a lot to learn. Still do have a lot to learn, but yeah. Abraham, Walking Dead. I thought his features are pretty interesting to capture. Just the haircut and the scruffy mustache. It's pretty neat to work on. I don't do a lot of portraits like that, so interesting character to work on at least. There's a portrait of a friend of mine I did years back. It's a friend that I met going with my dad on one of his music gigs. Yeah, she was really nice. I just figured I'd, try to draw a portrait of her. I guess we're gonna end off here with Carl. Anyway, just wanted to give you guys a quick update since I haven't posted in a while. Hope you guys enjoyed, and maybe I'll be back with something soon. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. Thank you guys for watching. I guess I'll see you again soon.